Hey guys, I'm back with another action figure review, and this time we're going to take a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Spider-Man wave from February 2015 Build-A-Figure, which is the Hobgoblin. And this Hobgoblin is the Phil Urich version, which a lot of people didn't seem very happy about when they showed it back at, what was it, San Diego Comic-Con? But I had just read Spider Island sometime before that, so I was like excited because I recognized him and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Of course, a lot of people were also upset that he was a Build-A-Figure and not just a regular figure, which I understand. I agree, Build-A-Figures should be like larger characters and things that are, you know, I mean, this is barely any bigger or more intricate than a regular 6-inch figure, but he's pretty cool, and I obviously did finally get the head on. So I will just, you know, go through it and do some comparisons and stuff. But, you know, I mean, he's definitely not, like, worth collecting the whole wave for unless you're planning to collect the wave anyway. I'm sure they could have figured out, like, a really much cooler character to do a Build-A-Figure with, but whatever. So we'll take a look at his accessories really quick before we jump in. So he does have a couple cool accessories. He has a translucent pumpkin bomb, which I don't know if you can really see that. There's a little face on it. I don't know if you can really see that on camera, but otherwise you can see it's translucent, it's orange, and he can kind of hold it in his hand, his right hand. It's kind of like a claw sort of gripping hand, but not really well. It doesn't really kind of slot in any way, so you wouldn't be able to make him kind of put his arm up and like he's about to throw it, because it'll just fall out of his hand. You can kind of only have him holding it like this, where you just kind of set it in the hand, and you can sit there with it like that, which is alright, it's fine. I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess, but it's almost kind of makes the old Marvel Legends Green Goblin with the pumpkin stuck in his hand make a little more sense, because you can, because you can see that in that guy you can like pose his arm back and he's about to throw it, whereas this guy not so much. But his other accessory is very cool, I think, which is this like flame sword. Put it down so you can just see this. It's a really big long sword. It's translucent, like orange, yellow to orange, plastic, flame, bendy, and it just looks really cool. And it also has the hilt has a really cool detailing on it with the little pumpkin head there, and it's like a blue with little flecks of, like, I guess sparkles in it. And it takes a little time to get it in his hand, because you have to kind of pull his fingers back and get it in there. But you can do it, as you saw I had in the beginning. I won't do it again, but yeah. So that's a really cool accessory. I think that's cool. He also has this hilt that kind of sticks into the back of his wings, and they aren't wings. It's just the handle, so I guess it's meant to look like he keeps his sword there. So what I would do is, if he's just posed like this, keep the hilt in there, but if he's holding the sword, I would take it out, because it's meant to look like he just kind of grabbed his sword from his back and he's holding it. So I think that's what that's meant for, to make it look like he's storing the sword in his back there. So let's take a look at the figure now. He's got a lot of good detailing, and you know, they should be doing that with the Build-A-Figure. If they're not going to make it an oversized figure, which they should, then at least give him a new sculpt, a lot of detail, which they did. He definitely looks like the art, which was Humberto Ramos, if I'm saying that right. He was the artist, and is he still, I think, for The Amazing Spider-Man with Dan Slott, and his art has like a certain look to it, and this definitely comes across looking like that. And he's got all the, it's got all the details of this character's design. And this Hobgoblin looks quite a bit different from the original Hobgoblin, whereas his face is kind of really ugly. Pull it in there. Got the big yellow teeth, and Then he's got just like a different design for the whole body with this like scale armor under there, and then just the whole, obviously the biggest thing is the wings, or like it's like a, I guess it's like a wing pack. He wears it on his back. Y'all can see the straps here, and then the wings come out so that he can fly. So it's like a glider, I guess. And then, yeah, I mean, I don't have the original Hobgoblin figure to compare him with, unfortunately. I don't even have the Green Goblin figure to compare him with, and those two are very similar. But, I mean, if you're familiar with them, you can tell this guy definitely is quite a bit of a different design. But cool, nonetheless. So, I'll just kind of go through and show you some more details again here. So you can see the wrinkles in the clothes here on the chest with the buckles and the straps and everything. He's got these pockets on the sides of his, like, skirt that have some paint shading on them. Doesn't look super detailed or anything, but has it, I guess. The back here has more chainmail on, like, a little belt. And the wings look really good, too. They're a pretty rigid plastic. They do, you know, they do bend, but they're pretty solid. But they have some, you know, like, etched details in, and then they have all the lines. You got the pack they come out of here. The straps that they're attached to, all there. And then his boots are pretty cool. They've got these straps and the buckles on them wrapping around. He's got some funny looking feet. Got some weird shading going on. I don't know if you can see. Oh, maybe that's just me. Yep. Now, I mentioned in one of my reviews that his knee pad kept falling off for me, which it did, and I super glued it back on, but I'm still trying to be a little bit careful just so that I don't go popping it off again. So I don't know if that's a common issue or not, but I just trying to be careful with that. I also mentioned that I wasn't able to get the head on. I did boil some water, and I just dropped the head in, let it sit for like a minute, and then pulled it back out and just slotted it on, and it went on so much easier. But I would just be careful, like, posing him, because I know some people also, I watched some other reviews, and his head just kind of pops on and off, like, when you try to pose it, because I don't know what it is about, like, I guess the hood is long, and then his head sits, like, high up in it, so it doesn't quite come, like, all the way down onto the wall joint, is what I'm kind of guessing is the problem here. But you can still pose the head, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I would suggest, when you put this figure together, I would put because I kind of put this, I would have done it in a different order had I known it would be such a difficult issue with the head and everything. I would suggest putting the torso, you know, together with the legs, so then you'd have torso with the legs. Then I would put the head on, with the hood and everything, so then you have this whole center. Then put the wings with the straps, like, over the, you wouldn't have the arms on yet, just kind of hold the straps in place. Then pop the arms on, so you don't have to worry about the straps going over the arms. So all of that combined and the straps also, you wouldn't have to worry about going under the hood. So all of that combined should make it easier to put them together, and if you do have trouble putting the head on, I do suggest boiling it and popping it on. So yeah, I'll go through some articulation now. The head is, again, inside the hood, but it will move like up and down inside there, and with the hood moves too as well, obviously. But yeah, you can move that up and down, and you can move it kind of left to right, but not too much because of the hood. Like, the hood won't really shift to that degree, because the straps, and it's wide and it curves over his shoulder. But yes, you can kind of get him to, like, look certain ways though, which is cool. Then you have his shoulders that will go up to about here, and they'll go around, but they'll hit the wings there. He has an interesting cut here. He has a cut instead of, like, a normal bicep swivel. I would have expected it to be here, like most other bicep swivels, but for some reason they just molded it like this, and then put the cut here where the color changes. I don't know, maybe it was an issue of molding, that way they could mold this in orange and this in blue and not have to worry about painting it, or, you know, maybe something to do with the straps and this bicep swivel would get in the way. I'm not sure, but it works okay. Then he has the double jointed elbow, which is really super smooth on this guy. And then he has a wrist rotation and hinge, just like everyone else. He has an ab crunch that's very ratchety. And unfortunately mine is like really loose. You can see he just wiggles. I don't know if maybe you can't see it, but yeah, there you go. Really, really loose in there. So I find trying to pose him just kind of just straight standing up. For some reason, what was I doing? I was trying to get him into a certain pose, and he would either just lean back or lean forward. He wouldn't just kind of stand up straight, and it was really frustrating me. And I'm not really sure how you tighten that up, especially on a ratcheting joint. But I mean, that's probably not a super common issue. Yeah, it's like, I think it's this particular slot that he ratchets to that's really loose, but like the other, no, it's loose on all of them. Never mind. I'm not sure why it does that, but oh well, work with it, I guess. He does have a waist twist. He has T-jointed hips that will go out about, you know, as far as they can with these pouches. They are, you know, kind of rubbery, but they're hard rubber, so they'll go out to about there. They'll go, you know, forward and back. There is a cut at the thigh up there. He has the double jointed knees. No boot rotation, but then he does have the hinge and ankle pivot rocker at the ankle. So your pretty standard set of articulation, just a little different in the bicep, and no shin swivel, but for the most part the same as other figures. And so I just wanted to show him with a couple other figures just for comparison of size and stuff. So obviously Spider-Man is necessary because he is a Spider-Man villain, or at least it's interesting because Phil Urich, the character, originally was Green Goblin, but as a hero, not as a villain. And then when he became the Hobgoblin, he's now a villain. And then after that, he was Goblin Knight, which was in the Superior Spider-Man arc. So he's had a bunch of different goblin-y related names and such, but, you know, he still is a Spider-Man. In this case, he's a Spider-Man villain. So take a look at them together. You can see he is a little bit bigger, but not by much, which is, I mean, it's pretty acceptable because, you know, he is a human for the most part. he does have a modified version of the Goblin serum, but as far as I know, he doesn't like get giant or anything, so this is pretty standard. They look pretty cool together. And just one other figure I want to bring in is actually the Anya Spider-Girl, because back around, I think, Amazing Spider-Man 650-ish, they have a fight together. She tries to take him on, and then actually Peter does show up and realizes that she can't fight him on her own and helps her out. So these three together actually make a scene out of the comics. So you see how, you know, she looks with them as well. She can make a cool fight scene with these three, or just, you know, just the two of them, and then maybe him coming in, whatever. But, so she looks cool because she's smaller and makes him look a little more menacing. But, yeah. So I figured I'd just show them. Overall, like, you know, he's a decent figure. The thing is, does he belong as a Build-A-Figure? Not so much. I mean, imagine if they put this kind of detail, this sculpting detail, into every 6-inch figure from the Marvel Legends line, and then gave us, like, a big Build-A-Figure. That would be awesome. But as it stands now, it looks like they're kind of just recycling body molds for regular figures and giving us a unique Build-A-Figure, which is, I guess, better than no Build-A-Figure, which has happened also. So, yeah, I mean, he's cool. I'm happy because I know the character. I've read a couple arcs with him, and he's a pretty cool looking design, I think. I mean, you know, I'd eventually like to pick up the original Hobgoblin, and I really like to get Green Goblin as well, but he's cool to have. And the more Spider-Man villains, the better, in my opinion. Eventually I will have like a big old Spider-Man shelf, and it'll be great. So I think that about wraps it up. So that's it for the wave, and I actually have one. I know what I'm going to review next, and so you will see it shortly. It's slightly related to these figures, so, I mean, you'll see soon. So, thanks for watching as always, guys. This has been my review of the February 2015 Spider-Man Marvel Legends Infinite Series Build-A-Figure Hobgoblin, Phil Urich. And that is always a mouthful. Thank you, Hasbro, for these great names. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for my next review.